The Pathways to Knowledge model of information processing identifies 6 stages that students go through when learning to process information. They are appreciation, pre-search, search, interpretation, communication, and evaluation. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. A middle school music class is collaborating with students in Sweden to write and perform an opera. The students form committees that take responsibility for different parts of the opera. The students on the set design committee demonstrate the interpretation stage of information processing. They describe the process of analyzing the script for the opera and inferring where props should be set on the stage. Then they use Total 3D Home Deluxe software to draw a plan for each scene, incorporating the ideas of the students from Sweden.
Taylor, you want to tell us a little bit about the computer program that you use? First of all, what's it called?
It's called Total 3D Home Deluxe, and this is our basement scene right now. And there's you just put in whatever you want it to look like. If you click there, and if you want a bed in it, then you click there, and it'll give you choices of beds, and then you just drag it in there. And you can also do elevation, and that's where you look at it, what you would see when you walk through the door. And this is like, if you walk through it, you can see what it's going to look like.
So this will be very helpful to us as directors. We can actually see where your furniture is, and the Swedish teachers can see that too, even before they come, and know where things are going to be.
The students who write the score for the opera further demonstrate the interpretation stage of information processing. They have to compose variations on a musical theme for the opening scene of the opera. The students work on integrating concepts they have learned and on synthesizing various ideas in order to compose music that complements the plot.
We worked through the first song that we wrote, and that's the one that we've been working with a little bit, the opening scene. And this is kind of a little jazz piece. Remember that piece that we were working on? And we decided that since there's quite a bit of dialogue there, and then there's a little bit of singing, that we would fill in with some little improvisational things. And that's what we had started to do last time. Let me just play the beginning of that just to review you on what that should sound like. This is a very opening part. And then the characters come in and they talk, and that walking bass keeps going all the way through on that part. Okay? So what we're going to work on, we're going to try and find at least 2 melodies that we can put in there underneath some of that speaking part, because it's a fairly lengthy part, and if it all pretty much sounds the same, it might get a little boring for the listeners. All right? And I think each of you are going to take, we have 4 conversations, you're each going to take one of those and play your little melody in between. Now, how are you going to determine what's going to go above this walking bass? You've got your notes. What would be a good way to figure out what that's going to sound like?
We have to sort of jazzy.
All right, you want it jazzy, so the rhythm is important, isn't it? So you might want to just play your bass melody for a little while to get the feel of the beat, and then maybe clap a little beat, or ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, or think of some kind of a rhythm, and then maybe play with those notes a little bit until you find something that you really like. Okay? So that's what you're going to work on right now. So let's see what you can come up with. You can go ahead and put your headphones on and work on that a little bit, and let's see what we can do there.
The students are determining themes and patterns as they experiment with different combinations of rhythm and melody.
Have you got a little rhythm going, Gigi? You had something, okay. Can you clap it for us, or have you got something ready to play? Okay, do you want to try that together? I'll play the bass part and see if you can fit it in.
All right, I'll try.
Okay, I'll give you a couple times to get the beat here. Okay, that's a good start. All right, great. Do you want to try it one more time?
The students on the script writing committee demonstrate the evaluation stage of information processing as they reflect on the process of writing the opera. They are assessing their personal information process as they discuss how they went about developing the plot and the characters. They also reflect on their collaboration with the Swedish students.
Tell us how you came up with the story. How do you write an opera? People ask me, how do you write an opera? Where do you start? Where do we start?
We start by thinking, what do we want our theme to be? So we all agree on a theme, and then as soon as we get that established, we go right to a thesis.
What were some of the themes that we came up with? Do you remember when we brainstormed on this way back in October?
Romance. We had like
Relationship.
junior high sweethearts.
Okay. Future, was that in there, and world peace and some of those things. And then we voted, and what was the winner?
Relationships.
Okay.
And then after you establish a theme, you go on to a thesis. Our thesis this year is, what's our thesis?
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Right, and was that the one we originally started out with?
No.
Why did we change it?
Because after we got into the whole writing process, we figured out that our thesis didn't exactly go along with our story. So we decided to change it after we asked Sweden about it, and they agreed that our thesis now went along much better than the one before.
Okay, and then we determined characters. How do we do that, Kylie?
Well, every class would, we just came up with like different character traits, and then we made a character wheel of the characters who would get along and wouldn't get along.
And then you bring that out in your story. All right, so we have these characters developed. And how did we work with Sweden on this? We weren't just doing this all on our own. They were working on it too, weren't they?
We actually made the names up, and then we gave them 4. They made up traits for 4 characters, and we made up traits for 4 characters, and we put them together, and we have these 8 main characters that are going to be in our opera. And then we decided on this character wheel, and we decided who would get along with who, and see if that was okay with Sweden. We would email that over there, and they would email us back, and that's how we kept in touch with that.
So the technology, again, was really important in the initial part of this.
It was.
Okay. What did you learn from doing it?
I've been rhyming a lot lately. I mean, after I get to class, somebody will say something and I'll rhyme.
How about you girls?
I kind of learned like you have to work together because we had to compromise a lot with Sweden and the other classes.
Yeah, we had a few frustrating moments after some of our conferences, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
We found out we'd both written the same scene. And
Like for our title, they didn't exactly agree with us, and we didn't exactly agree with them.
But these are probably, probably skills you're going to use when you get in the workplace, do you think? Are you going to have to work with people and compromise? Trust me, you will. You will.